Coach King, a tough one today for your Rockford IceHogs. Tough to crack an Iowa defense that didn't give you a whole lot. You got a lot of chances, but sustained offensive zone time, hard to come by. What didn't work? It seemed like it was getting more frustrating for the guys on the bench as the game wore along.
Yeah, you could see we were getting a little frustrated. We were trying to, they did a great job blocking shots, keeping pucks to the outside. We just couldn't penetrate. And then when we did have shots, we didn't have bodies in front. And it was just one of those nights the offense wasn't there.
The momentum just seemed to kind of counterbalance itself a little bit. You get an early fight, DJ Buzdecker, first professional fight for him, but then you run into some penalty troubles with Slavin and Jesevich going off into the box, and then you get another great fight from Garrett Mitchell to try and get some momentum, but then it kind of lulls back down, and then Iowa goes on the power play. What was the frustrating part from the coaching perspective of getting that roller coaster of, doing the right things, getting that push, but then penalties kind of kicked you back the other direction?
We just couldn't sustain any momentum. And then hats off to them. They did a good job by doing that, keeping us from getting any tilting the ice back in their end. They clogged up the neutral zone. They work hard. They're a good disciplined team where they work hard and they track all the time. So they're a hard team to play against. I liked our compete with the physicality. I think we bounced back from the other night when we didn't compete as well. But I liked our compete for most of the guys. And then the offense wasn't there. It was just one of those nights.
And I was going to say the physicality really jumped out for everybody up here in the press box just because of how physical the IceHogs were. When you were throwing bodies, you were getting pucks and momentum going the other way, and you kind of answered it there. But how happy were you with your physical game despite the offense, as you mentioned, not being around?
Yeah, well, I liked it. I wish we could sustain it for a little longer. And like you said, when we did do that and we got on their D and put the body up, we had a lot more opportunities on that. We had the puck a little more zone time. We had the puck a lot longer. And then we kind of got away from it. And, a good team like that just takes advantage of it. And, the back of our net on one of our PK got a little tired. But, it is what it is. We've got a few games left here. See if we can score some goals come tomorrow.
Well, you're taking on the Chicago Wolves, a team that can strike as well, but they're on a 3-game losing streak. It's a quick turnaround for your IceHogs, so let's just focus on that Monday. What are you looking for from your group now? Obviously frustrated from today, but a new day awaits.
It's again, come out like we did in the first period here today, and we competed. Hopefully the offense gets hot, and maybe our power plays a little better and our PK's a little better, but I just want to see these guys compete and leave a good taste in our mouths coming into next year.
And that's kind of my mentality or question for you for these final 3 games is what are you looking to get out of them? You've seen Chicago plenty of times this year, so you know what they have to offer, but it's down to your final 3. How are you trying to assess and take on this developmental season in the last trio of games?
Again, it's just play as a team, play the right way, don't cheat it. And, we still have 3 games to play. We owe that to the organization to finish these 3 games strong, and our fans that are watching. And hopefully we can come out and just play good, solid hockey.
And speaking of the organization, and last one for me, Mackenzie Whistle picking up his first National Hockey League goal with the Blackhawks today against the Dallas Stars. How has he improved along with many other IceHogs that have turned Blackhawks here, whether this season or last season? You got to be a little bit of a proud papa seeing those guys contribute, because I know that's your ultimate goal is to see those guys move on from their time here in Rockford to Chicago and
obviously that's what we do as a staff down here. We try to develop these kids as best as we can, but it's not us scoring the goals for them up top. It's or making the plays, and that it's up to them to do it. We can just direct them as best as we can, but they have to finish it, and they're doing a real good job for some of those young kids coming into their first year as an NHLer. So good for NC. Obviously, we're happy for him. Would have loved to have that goal tonight on our end, but we'll let him get his first pro goal. So good for him.
Jay Taft, your line is active, sir.
Hey, Coach. I heard a couple of folks above me here with the fans in there tonight, wondering if maybe without the playoffs, if some of the guys have kind of thrown it in or a little bit, maybe don't have that motivation going into these last few games. What do you say to those fans, just to let them know? I mean, these guys are playing for their futures, right?
Yeah. I mean, they're not packing it in by all means. we don't need playoffs hockey this year. It's not, they've already determined that it's not worth anything. So why play it? It's only going to cost the team extra money. It's going to cost the players money, which, already they're only making so much. So it was our decision to financially and for the best, looking out for the players that we don't need playoffs. You play a team 12 times, 10 times enough in a season, you get your playoff atmosphere from that. And I think the guys have done a good job with that.
Also, last question for me is, if this is the last time we see Matt Tompkins, did you see the development out of him from this season that you wanted to? I know it's a short and weird season.
That's a good question. I think he has developed. I think he's, would have liked to see him for a full season, and he'll get another game in here, maybe even two. We'll see. That's up to Pete Aubrey, our goalie coach. But I'm excited about next year. I think we've got to jump on what we need, what we have, and then the guys that are coming back, and they understand what we expect from them. So it'll be interesting, but I'm excited about next year already.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Greg Boyson, your line is active.
Hey, Coach, heading into the game today, you were preaching discipline. You've had some feisty games against Iowa this year, and for the most part, you guys were pretty good, except for Hosea with his little stick problems there for the game. But with a younger team like you have, how difficult of a task is that to get the discipline on the ice, or is it easier with a young team?
Well, it's easier, but you know what? You don't want them to take penalties like that, but I didn't mind showing some emotion and getting a little, angry at the other team. That's not a bad thing. Sometimes you want your players to react that way just to show that, they're involved in this game. So I didn't mind it. It's good for him. He was getting frustrated, I think, and he showed some emotion. And that's what this game is. Obviously, game 7 in the playoffs, you don't want to see him taking some slashing penalties, but I still like the fact that he showed some emotion.